Hi everyone and welcome to another episode. Today we'll be looking at some top tips for TEW 2020. So with that, let's get straight into it. So I'm on my last save that I went through the other day. It was for SWF. I got to August. Thanks everyone who's been watching that. Greatly appreciated. If you could like and subscribe my videos, I would really appreciate it. It really helps me out. But let's get into it. So, I've got 17 tips, mainly for new players, but it may help some long-term players who have been struggling a little bit. So, my first tip, whenever you start a game with any promotion, is to check out the product and read through all the instructions here. So it'll tell you the percentage of matches to angles you should have on your shows, on your events as well. It'll tell you if they want dangerous matches or death matches, or eye candy matches, or if you'll be penalised for doing so. It'll tell you the expected match lengths. Um, so matches less than 15 minutes will not be able to achieve world-class scores. I've had some 12-minute matches that have still got 90s. So it must mean like 95 to 100, but a 90 for an event is brilliant for certain matches on the card. And I will get to match lengths a little bit later. But yeah, definitely product, go through and read your product and then structure your shows around it. It'll really help um, cut down those chances of being penalised. Okay, so tip number 2, storylines. Okay, so as I said in my last video, I do my storylines a little bit different now. It just really helps because if you have, say, a singles feud as a storyline, whenever you put one of your guys in a match with another person, unless you have somebody running in and getting involved who they're feuding with, you're going to get a slight penalty for it. So what I do is I have my champions feud, um, or who are the championship contenders. I started with it because I had so many. I have so many now, but at the start I didn't have so many because I've signed a few people. But I group people together, so generally I'll have an idea of what the next maybe 2 to 3 months are going to look like as a build up to a bigger pay per view, and who's going to be sort of interacting with who will end up teaming with who. Um, like if I on to main event a TV show possibly. So that I always have that in mind and group them together. So I have my championship contenders, and then I see it as within these groups there'll be two people feuding, or there'll be building up to a fatal four way, um, and then they can obviously I've already said they can have tag matches, triple threats, singles matches with other people, and have people getting involved with beatdowns and whatnot. And it just helps you for your TV shows not to get those penalties, so you don't have to keep running the same matches all the time. You can have up to 8 people in them. I even do it for my tags. So there's four tag teams within here. So although they may be feuding, say the Awesomeness and Hawaiian Crush may be feuding in a tag feud, but on TV, these other teams are wanting to be tag team champions. They've been winning their previous feuds, so they've built up momentum. And then they can get a TV match on there with maybe somebody coming and getting involved, or a number one contenders match. It just makes it easier, um, and you get less penalties on your shows, which is what we all want in the end. So that's how I do my storylines now. It just makes me much happier, and I enjoy the game more. So maybe try it out, see if it works for you. As you can see, my storylines are generally well over the 70 that is required. They're all in the 90s and the 80s, even further down the card. These are just my singles guys who I haven't really done a lot with. Um, but you need those low card talent guys. People have to get wins over them, but again, I'll get to that later on. Point number three, creative. Obviously, this is really helpful, especially if you're new. I think I've ran SWF that much that I kind of know who my franchise players and whatnot are. But next big things, um, these are the ones who are the future stars of the company as the game sees it. They've probably got that hidden stat that we obviously don't know of, to the Destiny role stat, as it's I believe it's called. And these guys are going to end up being your best workers, so they're going to improve more in their talent. Uh, Obviously, these on your roster are the ones you should be having on shows and angles. Um, Talking, so Emma Chase is a commentator for me, but she's also Eric Eisen's partner. So if he has to come out, because I use him like once a show to deliver like an ultimatum, or somebody runs to him for requesting something, and Emma Chase generally leaves the desk and comes running back to get involved. Um, or I've also used it as Remo doesn't really speak. He just comes down and he hands Emma Chase something. She's not his manager; she just speaks for him. Um, so that's what I've done in the past. But Remo's that over on my save now that he doesn't need her, and he still gets really high results. Your showstoppers are obviously the ones who are going to put on your best matches. So grouping those together, um, I'm still trying to get that 100 um, rated match on this save. I've got like a 98 on my last show, um, but I haven't really put my best workers together in the best positions, because I just really like to tell stories. So um, there we go. Obviously, I'm not the best speaker, as you can tell. I mumble a lot, but in my head, I know what the stories are that I'm trying to tell. Ring generals, these are the guys to rely on to help get a decent match out of anyone, even the sloths of your roster, if you will. Um, I've got so many people with hot momentum that this is redundant for me now. I can like show you my roster later. Anyway, that is really helpful for new guys or people who are new to a specific promotion. Um, Point number four, as always, read the handbook, everyone. It's full of vital information. There's probably something you struggle on within the game that you don't know the answer to, and then people go and ask on the forums all the time, and really, generally, the answer's in this handbook. So I use it a lot still, just to remind myself. Like if you're not sure what a specific stat is, they're all here. It tells you what they mean, like psychology, charisma, micro skills. They're all there. It's such a good tool. But it even goes through booking, running and booking shows. It gives you loads of top tips, probably that I'm going to go over now. It's even got the match length here, which I'll go through in a bit. So yeah, definitely, guys. It's a big read, but it'll give you some massive tips. It'll be such a good help. So please let me know how you get on with that, and if it helped you. Building momentum and popularity are obviously a lot of people will be interested in this. I would say the first month or so, first 2 months, while you're building the momentum of your starting roster, because your starting roster is not the it's not going to let you knock it out of the park straight away without a lot of knowledge and hard work. But once you start setting your stall and you get into a rhythm, the momentum and popularity will start to grow. Um, so I would recommend you your main eventers. Like I'll show you Rocky Golden, for an example, and Remo. These are the guys that they should be very, very rarely losing. Like pay-per-view matches, maybe it's the odd TV show, but to keep their momentum high, they need to be winning. And I'm talking like beating mid carders, beating lower carders, beating upper carders on shows, just to keep that momentum up. He barely has matches on TV. He's mostly in angles because you need to protect these guys. and then their popularity, as you can see, will shoot up, and the momentum will be really high. Same with an angles. When you book an angle, somebody doesn't always have to be defeated. They can go 50-50 on it, and you can just have both guys getting like the success from it. So they could just have a back and forth argument or a 50-50 brawl. Then nobody loses popularity, nobody loses momentum. Obviously, you don't want to do it all the time because there needs to be some winners and losers at the end of the feud. Otherwise, nobody gets over. But just remember, you can do a double success on an angle or a booking, and that will help get good scores and help you get white hot momentum. With like nearly all of my main eventers are white hot in my upper carders. Greg Gorgeous new. I'm sure he's just red hot. I haven't had him long, only a couple of months, and he's been in the tag division, but he's just got over so much that I have to use him in. I just use him in matches like against Rocky Golden and against my main eventers because it just keeps gaining momentum and popularity. So it's just easy to just have him take a loss because it doesn't really affect him. He's just that. He'll do an angle and just get um, like really high marks, and his matches are so rated high that he doesn't lose. Even though he loses the match, he doesn't lose popularity because the 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 match rating or whatever is like already 10 higher than what his popularity is. So he still gains momentum. So these are the type of guys on your roster to keep an eye on. Joey Morgan in my save, as you can see, he's white hot. Um, he just this isn't even his best. His popularity got to. I'm sure I had him in the like 89 must have been. I'm sure in one save I've had him at like 92, but there's such things as popularity caps in it, so certain people will just not be able to get higher than that rating. So unfortunately for me, Hollywood Brett Starr was one of them. Uh, popularity cap is 84, um, but as you can see, globally, because I built a network at the beginning. Even though I've got a TV show, I still put them. I should have just done it worldwide apart from America because I have a really good TV show. But it gets such high viewers, but my TV ratings suck. But I don't seem to get penalised for it. It's like a 0.01, but because they just all watch the network that I've got. So again, I'm not the finished article. That was my taken from it. You learn every day's a school day. You learn as you go on. So yeah, main eventers should be upper carders, mostly mid carders and lower carders. Your upper carders get victories over your mid card. Your mid card get victories over your lower carders. And then if you've got a development territory, or you can bring in like local guys for your undercarders to beat. So everyone gets victories. I'll show you Oliver Cobb, for example. He's one of my lower carders. He hasn't really lost much popularity. I think he's lost one over the time, but that was because I wanted to put somebody over him. Um, so I think it was Ernest Youngman. I'd had him in developmental. I was putting him on my B shows. He was having great matches with Angry Gilmore and whatnot, but it got to the point where it's like, right, I really need to start pushing this guy. So he started to beat guys like Oliver Cobb, guys like Robbie Retro, and that was the only time where I was sort of having them lose popularity to give it to him because he was going to be a star. So like he's had 30 losses and 11 wins, but yeah, he is down to cold. But a couple of wins against some development little guys or some local talent, and that should change back to neutral, or even a gimmick change. That's one of the things. If the gimmicks once you refresh a gimmick, everything goes back to neutral. So that's a good way if you've sort of had a guy losing a lot and his momentum gets really bad, you can just change his gimmick and then give him a push, and it'll go back to neutral and then higher. So there you go. There's another tip. The next one So the match types. So again, it depends with which company you use, but for like SWF and USPW, you always have to have a storyline match, and these are the matches I would use. I would have two in the show, so I have 6 matches on my TV show, and the rest are angles. I have the top match time limit would be like 15 minutes for my main eventers, or if I've got a match with two really good workers, even if they're in the mid card, I'll have them steal the show, and they'll go 15 minutes tops, maybe 12 minutes for mid carders and upper mid carders, and then 8 minutes to 10, like 8 to 10 minutes for your lower carders. You won't like with my product that you start with. I haven't really changed it. 3 ring circus. You just need 3 good matches within your show. So your main event, um, I tend to have my semi-main as a storyline based match, so it calms them down a bit, and then like the third match on the card is a storyline. And I use my mid carders. Get your mid carders on the show, guys. They'll get more eyes on them, especially if you've got a really good like if you've got a network like I have in this. My guy's popularity is flying high because I'm trying to catch USPW. I'm already ahead of them in the US, but globally I want to catch them. It's this one, isn't it? So company was, as you can see, the entire world USPW were higher because they were well higher than me, but I've got past them. They've dropped to third. I've stole a few of the guys, and I'm just putting on constantly good shows. Um, so I'm beating them that much in the battle that they've dropped, and I'm catching them globally because of my network. You just make that much money on this game. Like, um, another tip that I'll get to, I'll probably say it again, is merchandise. Just get it to rapidly grow, get it upgraded, and you make about 2 to 3 million per month on it. Um, and if you've got some really good star quality guys with high popularity, they'll just make you a ton of money. So there we go. So yeah, steal the show for any. I use it for like pretty much 3 matches. My starter, like my opening for the show, I want to have a good opener, so I put two, maybe like up mid cards to upper mid carders who can go in the ring, have them at the start, then um, or a main eventer over a mid carder or whatnot. Then I have one just before the the main event, obviously, because you want to have a good rating, and then another match within there, another stealer show, 12 to 15 minutes, and it gets great ratings. Usually, I get at the minute at the start I was getting like 82 to 85 on the TV shows, but now I can get like loads of 90 ratings. I'll show you. So here's some of my TV shows. Look, 89 main event. Um, 80 there. There was an 83. Um, even got an 80 out of Robbie Retro and Spencer Spade defeated him. Um, look at Tommy Cornell, Greg Gorge got a 90 there. Steve Freely, Angry Gilmore got a 92. These are TV shows. 83 there for Hawaiian Crush defeating mainstream sensations. So, um, and pay per views as well. I've shown you like an 86 there, a 98. Um, and then so James Prudence and Frederic, don't be afraid to put your mid carders in there, like in a storyline match to cool the crowd down. Otherwise, your main event bombs because the crowds had no time to come down. It's like wrestling shows are like a roller coaster. You build them up and then you cool them down again. You build them up, you cool them down again. So that's like the show structure that you should be going for. Um, Match lengths, you can check it in the handbook. It says it in here. So if you go to running and booking shows, go to match lengths. It used to be they had to be over like 15 to 20 minutes or something, but now your main event can be like what it needs to be. So you won't it says here you won't incur penalties. Uh, So a match can be between 1 and 90 minutes, although it must meet the specific minimum and maximum requirements. There are no explicit penalties for requiring certain matches to go certain lengths. For example, there is no requirement for your main event to be the longest bout on the card, nor will there be a penalty specific because your main event was short. All the bonuses and penalties. So it just depends on the guys in the match. So like a Goldberg main event where it's quite short, and they just go gung ho like him and Brock Lesnar did. I know that wasn't a main event, but those matches can still score highly now. Whereas previous games they would have got penalised if you'd put the main event. So yeah, and look at AEW. They don't always have their biggest match on the card last. They usually start with it and give it some time because they don't want to have to cut the main event short. So I guess wrestling's changing, and TEW has like been ahead of that. Number 8, how to release a worker. So this crops up a lot. So it's behind the popularity. See these little arrows here, and then you would just click release. I'm not going to release him, but you would just click yes, and then you would get them out of their contract. So that is how to get rid of a worker. The next tip, number 9, is worker attributes. So see you've got all the skills here. If you click this little arrow here, you can see what their hidden attributes are. They're not so hidden because well, they are hidden. They're hidden behind that arrow, but you see what I mean. So this tells you who's better as a face or a heel, what their attitudes are. Are they a good fit to your roster and whatnot? What gimmicks they can play. If you want to change their gimmick, you can test that. So Atom Smasher usually starts with Midas Touch. So this one is where a sudden burst of amazing form. So they get bonuses in their matches and in their angles. So he's a good one to use. And usually, like I have him like super duper high, but for some reason in this save he's just not clicked as much as he usually has. So he mustn't have as good a Destiny role. But usually, if you start as SWF, give this guy a push straight away because of that. Bane of form he's in. I always think of it as like CM Punk in 2011, even though WWE proper dropped the ball with him. He just got so popular in everything he did, even though he was given chicken salad. Sorry, he was given chicken crap. He turned it into chicken salad. So that's like the example I can think of when I think of the Midas touch. Obviously, in more recent events, he's done the opposite, but we'll not get into that. Number 10, change the gimmick and how to so how do you change the gimmick? See this button here in the status box? If you click on that, you can rename the gimmick, you can tweak the gimmick, or you can prepare for a gimmick change. So this is the area where to do it. So you would just click that, add a new name for the gimmick. How creative do you want them to be? How safe do you want it to be? How generic or unique? So say you wanted to be creative and unique, you could put it there or up here. Likewise down here. And then you pick what sort of basis you want to give it. So is that a badass gimmick? Is it a realistic one? Should the guy show more swagger? Is it like, I think that's another word for like cocky, swag, like Ric Flair would fit into that one. Is he offbeat or unstable? Is he Weasley or a bit of an underdog? I'm not on about like, is he got ginger hair and mates with Harry Potter when I say Weasley either. But that's another story. Right. So that is how to change a gimmick. If you want to change someone from babyface to heel, you can prepare a turn here. The longer you build up that turn, the stronger it can have like boosts on it. You can always do a quick turn, but if you do too many, you may get penalized over time. So it's good to have those slow babyface or heel turns to get that better rating at the end of it. So that's number 10. Number 11. How can you change roster or brand or give them a bonus? There's a couple of ways. You can click on is happy there because that's to do with the morale and you'll get to this screen. Or the big yellow bar up here with their name on it, you can click that and you get there. So if you wanted Atom Smasher no longer to be a wrestler, you could tick it off and see you wanted them to be a manager. You can't be a manager. Yeah, so basically the only thing you can do. There are certain people who've got like attributes to be a manager and whatnot. Or you can talk to him and ask him to become a manager, and then you'll be able to tick that box. You can change his alter ego if he had any alter egos. If you have brands, you can change his brand here. If you've got divisions, you can set him to a division if you use those. If you want to add a manager, you can do that here. If you want to give him a bonus or check on his morale, this is the area to do so. Um, as I mentioned, you can talk to the worker here and you can ask him, would you consider being a manager? And then if he says yes, then you can tick the box and have him as a manager. So that is how to do that. Number 12, how do you send someone to development or the training center? So again, if you've got a development company, if you've got a training or performance center, RIPW runs shows for me. I give them a TV show on my network to help them grow in popularity, and to give the guys more in-ring time so they'll improve better. So if you wanted to send American Machine, say you weren't using him and his stats weren't that great, he's a bit old to be sending there, but just use an example. You just click send away. If you've got more than one development company, you click the one you want to send him to and click send to development, and he'll go off to RIPW. Say you've got like a young talent, they're pretty raw in the ring, but I don't know, maybe you like their picture or their bio or something like that, and you think, oh, they could be one for the future. You can send them to your performance center. So mine's called Supreme Wrestling University. So yeah, you just send them there, and he'd disappear from your roster. If you wanted to bring him back from your child company, you can just go to development, and then you click recall. As you can see, I'll go into that later because I'm going to get into development companies and whatnot. House shows. These are really, obviously, this is probably for if you're playing as a global or large company. But if you get to the size where you can have house shows and contracted talent, if you go to house show booking, you can, like, I've got a B show to do this, so I haven't really used it much, but I have in previous versions. But say you wanted to see if American Machine and Matty Faith had chemistry as partners, because chemistry is quite good in this game, guys. You could start monitoring that. So I'll do that. So on the house show loops that they've got, these guys are going to team together, and one of your road agents will come back to you and say, hey, these guys have got either great chemistry, no chemistry together, or poor chemistry. So then you know. If you want to keep a check on that, you can click on the chemistry button. There it is up there. And you can change it to show all positive chemistry. So American Machine has great chemistry teaming with Mass Patriot. That was why I teamed them together. And put them in a stable with Matty Faith. They all had really similar gimmicks, so it made sense that they would all team together. But yeah, over time you'll build up chemistry. Chemistry is really good because it'll give you a boost in matches. So they can either have chemistry as opponents or as a team or both. So yeah, definitely use that house show functionality if you're big enough to use house shows, or on your B show you can always throw guys together to see if they've got any chemistry as a team. Or maybe you'll just stumble across it if you put a couple of main eventers or upper carders together in a tag situation where you're having two singles feuds go at it. Sometimes that just works out. Like I said, you can do house show chemistry as opponents as well. Say you want to check that your Supreme Challenge main event works out, like I did. Remo versus Golden. I did it at the second Nothing to Lose pay-per-view on February, and I had them go on one there. If it hadn't worked out, I'd have had to do a triple threat or something at Supreme Challenge, but it turned out it was fine. They didn't have any chemistry, so it wasn't going to get penalized. So yeah, chemistry is really important. The next tip we're going to look at, I think I've already mentioned it, merchandising, set it to rapid. uh, and get that growth. As long as you've got money in the bank and you're making money, that will help. It'll turn like a million into 1.2 million, and then as you grow, it'll go 1.3. It'll just rapidly grow. So it's a really good one to have. Again, I've already touched on the next tip, which was number 15, which is your development company, your child company. So to give them a TV show, um, you go to schedule, you add a TV show. So I just used the SWF Elite logo and just called it RIPW Elite. Set it up as a Monday, so you add a new TV show, um, pick the image you want, set it as an A show, give it an hour, put it on which day you want, and then if you've got your own broadcaster, you just create a new deal for IRIPW Elite. Give them a deal for their events, and when it's just so easy to make money on this game, you just go to your investments and launch your own broadcaster, and you can upgrade it as you go. Like this is the size of mine currently, so it's huge in the US, um, very big in Canada and Mexico, and it tells you how much it costs to increase it. Um, but as I want to beat USPW, I want to expand. That is why I've made that network. I probably didn't need it in the US, but as you can see, I'm ahead of them now, so it has helped. It just my TV ratings absolutely suck. Um, they're just really low because of the network. Once the network came in, they just dropped. But I haven't been penalised or anything for it from the network. I'm getting and I'm raking money, and I'm spending, as you can see, I'm spending. I'd probably be a billionaire by now, but I just keep chucking it all into my TV shows, um, TV network. Um, Next one, pre-booking. Um, I haven't got anything pre-booked at the minute for the next show, but it gives you a boost. So it can turn a 90 match into a 92 or a 93. So definitely, if you've planned something, get it pre-booked, and take advantage of those little boosts, because they can be, especially early on, they can be the difference between you network. You can drop 10 points on a show because your storylines and whatnot aren't at the 70 heat. So if you can get that boost, it can always help you out, especially to get through the first few shows to keep you while you build your storyline and people's popularity up. So I definitely recommend pre-booking. And my last tip, number 17, have a plan. Like use Excel or Google Sheets, guys, whatever. I always write down who's on my roster, who are my baby faces, who are my heels, how popular they are, because that's important for SWF, and what the momentum's like. And I'll plan up to Supreme Challenge. I'll be like, right, this is my main event. I always pick my two most popular guys. So for this one, it was Remo and Golden, and there was nowhere anyone was going to catch it. I think Joey Morgan got close with his popularity, um, but I'll show you Remo, and Remo got super popular once he um, once he defeated. Yeah, he got up to like 96, 97 there. So yeah, I think he got higher than what Golden actually got to. So these two were like so well protected, um, so they could have that match. So I'm guessing his 95. I can't see it going higher. So yeah, he's capped at 95, which is not the worst thing. But Remo, I've seen get higher at 97. So yeah, that you pick, like, you put your two most popular guys at the top of the card, or at least on the card, against each other. So the if I continue this save, it will be to uh, who's going to main event next year. So that would start it off. So um, I think it's going to be Scythe versus whoever's going to be my next big baby face. Um, Mickey Lau possibly if he continues to grow. Um, so Mickey Lau and Scythe, they've already had the Supreme Challenge. It was Mickey Lau and Rogue. I'm sure they've already faced. They haven't tag. If not, I was building up to um, that feud. Well, yeah, look at that match there. Remo, uh, Mickey Lau defeated Remo via DQ on a Supreme Challenge. Got a 96. He's got 95, 96, 95 there. So, yeah, possibly it could be. Um, but that's what I'm saying. You've got to have a plan. Obviously, things change. I wanted Valiant Scythe to go over Valiant at Supreme Challenge, but Valiant got injured. So I had to think on my feet and change things. But at least if you've got a plan, you know where you're going to start, and then you can work back from that. So how does Rocky Golden get his shot back at Remo? He wins. I mean, I love a Royal Rumble. It's like my favorite match. It even when WWE was bad, I'd get the network back from January to April just so I could see the build up to Mania, even if it was terrible. It was just tradition, but um, yeah, I love the Royal Rumble. So yeah, I made the Supreme Rumble. So that's how he got it back. What is he going to be doing in the meantime? Because I don't want him and Remo to have a match together, singles match until the pay per view. Well, Scythe cost him the title, so he's going to feud with Scythe. Um, and like Scythe hasn't lost since he lost to Golden, and he won't lose until he faces Golden again in 2021 in the save. Possibly at when Hell freezes over again, a year later from their first encounter, and this time Scythe will destroy him. So that's the plan. So I know where I want to take it, and I know how I want to tell the story, and then I just have to fill in the blanks in between. Sometimes it's just putting two guys together who are in a similar storyline and main event in the show, and maybe you'll get like an absolute baller of a match. As you can see, some of these have been really high. Use tag matches, guys. 6-man tags. The the chemistry just bounces off it, and they get really high ratings. Um, and it saves you single matches as well. Because if you do too many singles matches, you can get penalised. But anyway, like I say, I love this game. It's gotten better with each update because I know a few people were upset with it at first, and some people have left the community, the modding community. But it is what it is. Anyway, that's it for this episode, guys. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe. Pass it on to other people, and I promise to keep more content coming. But I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.